guys, and welcome back to another great episode of Partner Honesty. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
And today we are talking about what?
We don't know.
Megan.
Well,
You just self-diagnosed me with ADHD.
So it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it is
Yes.
also ADHD Awareness Month. Tiffany said, I don't know if I have ADHD. I said, yes,
I
you
don't.
do. How? And I
Wait
said,
a minute.
my whole house is full of ADHD family members. I can recognize it now. Like,
What do you mean?
undiagnosed ADHD, undiagnosed ADD.
Okay, so tell me what ADHD really means. I've just only heard the acronyms. I never have deep dived into, okay, what is it exactly besides, I guess you have trouble focusing on one subject at a time, in your attention span is kind of like, I'm focused on this. Okay, now I got to go focus on something else. Oh, shoot. What was I doing before I forgot?
Yeah, that's part of it. Different kinds of ADHD.
Okay.
A lot of my children are called ADHD combined, so they have both kinds of ADHD. It could be all kinds of things. I think the misconception I thought was it meant, first off, you were hyper all the time. That really is not it. And I thought it was just you don't pay attention, but that's not it either. There's a lot of, like your brain never stops. So like what you're saying, the distractions, but there's also impulse issues. So like, I want that. I'm just going to grab it. Or this is what I'm thinking. I'm just going to say it. Like the impulse issues. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's emotional regulation that comes with it. It's very hard for ADHD people to express emotions usually I don't want to say the right way, but I'm mad, so I'm just going to shut down, or I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. Like there's not it's hard to regulate emotions. ADHD is very hard with, I've lost you already. Like I'm talking too much. Like with ADHD, the longer the explanation, the more the words, they are literally in another place.
I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Why you still,
it's
that
short.
happened to me.
And they say like, if I'm going to have a long conversation with you, I need to touch you at times. That's going to give you your attention back. Yeah. Because you're already thinking about your pool, your dog, your whatever. If I go like this, it brings you back. It's a distraction. It's a physical touch. A lot of people ADHD, they avoid eye contact. It's not that they're not listening, but they are usually doing something else. Like you'll notice people who fidget while you talk. There's a lot of people who will hold on to things or do things. That helps them focus. So like they're not listening to you, but doing something helps them program listening still, even though they're doing something. That's like when one of our kids was younger, a teacher put bands on the bottom of his chair in class so he could kick his feet back and forth with the bands, but he was paying attention, but it was keeping him focused. And so there can be we see it. And as our kids get older, we see it a lot with even our older kids, finishing tasks, completing thoughts. I don't want to use the word lazy because everybody will say, they're not lazy. That's to be determined. But with the lazy aspect of it is because they get frozen. Like my one older daughter, she needs body doubling, which means she has to do a task. She cannot do it unless it's very last minute. Like if it's due at midnight, she's doing it at 11:50, or I have to be in the room with her. If I'm in the room with her, she can get it done because it's called body doubling. Somebody in there, it's like a pressure. You'll see where people will say, tell your ADHD friend you'll be there in 20 minutes.
And I'm going to get it
your house. You're going to clean your house. You're going to make dinner real quick. You're going to do something. And then I never show up. It's just to get you to do your tasks. Yeah. I see it a lot. I mean, I have some tendencies, but I see it a lot in our job. I see it a lot with people. I'm like, and people will give me all these things they have wrong. I'm like, have you considered getting diagnosed for ADHD? I know.
Well, what is the test? I mean,
it's a long, I don't know. All of our kids have taken the long computer test.
Okay.
Like it will say, if your teacher is reading you a story, how many times do you lose track of what the teacher's saying? When you go clean your dishes, do you get distracted and go do your laundry? Like it asks you all these common things that are identifiers for ADHD. And I'm sure for adults, it's probably a little bit different questions than a child. But you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whichever one, they'll issue you the test and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think I've ever had a test. I think for me, culturally, we did not get diagnosed until recently. I think my kids' generation, I started taking them to the therapist and, okay, let's figure out if there's something wrong with you or not. But when I was growing up, you just got your tail beat and you better figure it out.
But I agree. That's us too. Like cultural, whatever. Like Madison's dad, he is ADHD to the core, but when he was younger, that didn't exist back then.
No, it didn't.
So like his mom took out sugars and white breads and would beat his ass because like you go to bed and you do, that's another thing. ADHD has horrible eating habits and horrible sleep patterns.
What do you mean? Habits. I use a sleep aid to go to sleep, or I will not sleep because my mind is going. And if I do go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up, toss and turn until I stop the wheels turning in my head. And then
White noise machines help a lot with ADHD, or fan noises. Even if you don't have a fan, just put the fan app on your phone. Because I'll do that with the kids. Just turn on the fan app when we're somewhere if there's no fan. But that noise gets your brain focusing on the noise, instead of your thoughts. But yeah, we didn't. But when we were younger, we didn't have that either. There was no such thing, and that's why a lot of people say it's fake. But I will say this right now: the 2 kids that had medication had chosen not to take medication anymore. So, but we have seen a change when you do like magnesium, you do vitamins, folic acid, like all those things really do. You start to see a difference. But when they don't take it, you definitely see a difference. People say ADHD is made up. Maybe it is, but there is a science to what your brain is lacking that causes you to have those behaviors. So if you want to call it ADHD or just vitamin deficiency, whatever, but it does help to take those other things to kind of get you back to, because we notice it day and night.
Wow. So I think a lot of us just learn to, like me, I'm a list maker. So I make a list so that, okay, if there's something I'm supposed to do, if it's on the list, then I'm going to get it done. If it's not on the list, it might not get done. And then I do find myself being really task oriented when it comes to like, okay, today's watering day for the plants. Everything else goes out the window. How important it is.
Hyper-focus.
I'm focused on, I need to water all my plants. I need to make sure they go back in their pots and go back in their spaces. And I could lose 5 hours just because I'm so focused on, today is plant watering day.
That's your
doing anything else until this is done. And I might go, like I vacuumed the floor in between watering as I was waiting. But then, it's right back to, okay, these plants got to get water. We're not focusing on anything else.
That's what Massimo Joker would just wait till I get one of my hyperfixations. That's when she'll go and clean her apartment. Or, like Ava, she'll clean her, like when they get hyper focused at some moment, then they can't,
But I'm also a person that I don't like disorder. Like everything in my house.
You are disorder.
Megan, don't piss me off.
You are disorder. Oh my God.
And you know that because you're very close to me and everything that I do, like Toys for Tots, you're right there. But can't you see that I've gotten better? My ADHD is getting better.
No, your ADHD has not gotten better. Your management has gotten better. But it's because really you schedule things probably on a whim sometimes and you don't take the time to write it in and plan it. And then you think you can do everything at once because you think of the times you're hyper-focused. You're like, I could do all that. And then when it really comes, either it's like a freeze and nothing gets done. Yep. Or it's total chaos.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that I wish, like I was totally naive, until this life of mine now, but it's really frustrating to people who do not live with anybody with ADHD or do not have ADHD. I don't think I have ADHD I don't think I do because I have some characteristics I think that go with the ADD, like sometimes it's hard for me to focus. I will start in the kitchen, be in my bed, like those type of things. But I don't need body doubling. I don't really get hyper focused, like whatever. People have no patience. I struggle with patience with the kids. Like I struggle. What do you mean you couldn't answer 2 questions? Or even better, they do their homework, but they just don't turn it in. Or they'll sit down at the table for 30 minutes, look at their paper, never do a thing, but in their head, they're singing musicals. And like, it is literally whatever, if people don't believe in it, whatever it is the most frustrating thing to live with, especially if somebody else is OCD or, they're very organized and they're like, and I'll be like, well, they'll be like, well, did your kids? Nope, they forgot. Forgetting is a huge thing. I
have a terrible memory.
It's not your memory. It's because you have 70 million things that you're doing at once. Yes, it's memory, but you're so everywhere that it's memory, but it's not memory. It's because you're going so fast in your brain.
Well, I was thinking that was menopause because I can walk into the kitchen. I even said this before I left.
Hold on, I'll cut you off. 10 years ago, did you have the same issue? I've known you a long time and you've had the same issue.
Because I could walk in the kitchen and be like, oh shit, what I came in here for? I don't remember.
Then
I can
walk
back out.
But I'm talking about did you forget about an appointment you have? Did you? Yes, you do. Last week you booked 3 things at once and said you didn't know.
What do you mean? What we booked?
Blood drive, committee meeting, and a CEO. And you're like, that's next week.
No, I said.
Do you want me to read your text?
Don't be out me in front of everybody. This is supposed to be private.
You said this was next week. I said, girl, it's today. Oh, hold on.
You just said.
What do they say? Come with the what? What do they call it? Come with
I don't know. You know, I'm not popular in all the
what's
latest.
That lingo say? Come with
6,
the
7?
notes? No, come with the note. No, come with the
facts.
Not
6,
the
7.
facts. Yes, 6, 7. Okay, hold on.
Okay, so last week we had a meeting. The blood drive was supposed to be going on, and what was I? What was I doing? I don't even remember. See, that's terrible. Is that ADHD or just bad memory?
Okay, not sure what tomorrow's meeting. Wait. Interviews are tomorrow. I'm trying to make sure I don't say anything. You'll have to take my question. I'll be late. Tiffany, you can't be late. Well, I can't be there. I'm the chair at the association. I was like, girl, you already made a commitment. And I did not agree to this meeting. This meeting went out a month ago. She did agree. She said, confirm.
Okay, yes, confirm, because what happened was, tell the story so you can understand my ADHD. The committee meeting is always scheduled the month. So if we have a committee meeting in September, we're scheduling the October meeting in that September meeting. So that was already scheduled. When they sent out, hey, can we do?
No, your September meeting came after our first search committee meeting.
No.
Yes, it didn't. I looked at your notes at our board meeting the other day.
Anyway. When the request came out for scheduling for this other committee that we have, I said I cannot do that day. But the majority said, okay, we can do that day. So how am I supposed to fight that?
When did you say you couldn't do that day?
I emailed our committee leader.
Oh.
So that's what I mean when I say I didn't agree to that, because I said, no, I can't do that day. But because the majority of the people said we're doing that.
But that's not a day you can miss.
That's okay. I ain't that damn important.
Yes, you are. You're only 7 of them. But
okay, I was at.
But that's 3 bookings: blood drive,
committee meeting,
and that meeting.
Oh yeah, so I missed the committee meeting. I did delegate. She does help me a lot, guys, with my brain. So I
said delegate.
So I did delegate, and then I did the meeting, and then I flew over to the blood drive, and yeah, look at them.
Yeah,
it's ugly. Anyway, I love that I gave blood for the very first time in. It's been over 20 years, so they were fabulous.
Try to give blood,
but for me, I don't know. I guess in my brain, it's me thinking, okay, we can skip over this thing because this thing is more important than that. It's not necessarily.
You think you can get all 3 done in the same window. I think in your brain, you're like, I can do all that. I can do all that. I think that's why sometimes you're overbooked, because stress is actually a motivator for ADHD people. Yeah. That's why, at papers are due at midnight, they're doing it at 11:50. If you got to do something at 1, they're not doing it a week in advance. They're waiting till right before. So stress creates urgency, and urgency creates results for most ADHD people. I'm not going to blanket everybody together, but just in my life experience.
So I can see I definitely work better, I believe, under pressure. But then I do not like the anxiety and the stress that comes along with I waited till the last minute. But even if I do wait till the last minute, I'm going to get it done because I don't want to look like a...
So what Madison's dad would tell her is that it's fine if you function that way until it affects other people.
Yeah.
So if your last minute decision starts hurting or affecting other people, you have to manage it better.
Okay, but then that also plays into the fact that, like, I got boxes to the house for Toys for Tots. It's 300 of these darn boxes. They're in that garage, taking up space. Ed was like, why didn't you call somebody or put it in your group chat that you have these boxes that need to be moved? And in my brain, I'm thinking, this is last minute. Why would I dump that on somebody else? I didn't know that they were coming that day.
You don't have to tell them to come that day. I mean, you could say, hey, I've got boxes here. Could somebody come in the next 2 days to help me move them?
And broke the garage in the process.
But here's the thing. I think this is where my kids are younger, obviously still. I mean, they're not, you need to, let's say you get diagnosed, okay, ADHD. you need to read up on it and understand it, because what you think is a quirk is not a quirk. It's, you might need to do better lists. You might need to set timers. Like I tell the kids all the time, set alarms on your damn phone. Just set an alarm to go off. To remind them of the 900 things they forget to do. Homework, take the trash out, bathe. I mean, set a timer. Like, I just feel like you have to take ownership. Like, especially if you're not going to medicate or anything, you need to take ownership and say, let me research this.
Okay.
What are the pros? What are the cons? What are things that people have proven that help? This vitamin helps? Great. Writing checklists? Great. Some people do Post-it notes everywhere. Set alarms on your phone. Like, have an accountability partner. Like, that's where I feel like people are just like, oh, I have ADHD. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, because I know I have a diagnosis of a disorder, and I do recognize, okay, like if I'm sitting in the conversation, we went to a bar over the weekend, like you were saying, this lady drove me nuts, and I was like, why am I so annoyed with her? Every time she came to our table, she had a whole 5, 6, 7 minute spiel, and I was in my mind, I said, please go away. Please go away. Nobody wants to talk to you. And maybe it's just me, but I don't want to hear your voice right now.
It was too much. She probably talked too slow, and
Yeah,
she
was
probably
driving me
talked
nuts.
too long.
She was talking too late.
And you're being polite, and that's a lot of mental. That's why a lot too that and I'm not lumping everybody together. So if somebody's like, that's not me, okay, cool. And all the people in my realm that are ADHD, they get very overstimulated quickly. It's kind of like anxiety. Anxiety and ADHD run together a lot.
So she was giving me anxiety,
right?
And I
because
was like,
then you get socially drained. So like you might hang out and have a great time, but then when you get home, you want nothing to do with anybody else because you're so tired of like the stimulation. You just want to like zone out on the TV or the phone or whatever, because overstimulation physically, mentally wears you out. So, and I think ADHD, and I know because we have enough counselors in our life, learned a lot. They run very together with anxiety. And sometimes people will confuse anxiety for some things because some of those similar things can happen with anxiety. But now I don't have any opposition defiant. So a lot of times the ADHD, some of the younger kids get diagnosed with opposition defiance, which that's where you see more of the temper tantrums, the anger, the yelling, the cussing, the, not wanting to, you tell me to put my shoes on, I'm going to freaking throw them across the room. Like that's more opposition. And I don't have any kids with that. So thank God. So I don't have that.
Yeah, I do feel like once I get home at the end of the day, that's exactly me. I just want to sit in front of the television. Sometimes people call, depending on who they are. I don't have it to give, so I'm not going to answer your call.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad, but it happens. And then Ed is looking at me like, what the hell? Why can't we have a whole conversation? Why can't we spend time together? And I'm like, I just want to sit here.
But see, but in those type of things with relationships, then the relationship has to come first. So you either need to connect in the morning and give your energy there. So when you're done at the end of the day, or you you have to cut your day off early, take an hour by yourself somewhere and come home and be able to connect. But you really should get tested. This would be a great episode for you to get tested, and then we read your results.
Oh.
We could both go get tested.
I got it.
At Haymont Institute.
So I just go there and they will.
Well, it's like, it'll probably take you 6 months to get an appointment. But
no, I got a therapist. I can just ask him.
If he does the testing, they all don't do the testing. Like all of our kids had to go through another place versus our counselors. So not all counselors. Ask them. I mean, he might have somebody in his facility, but all places don't do ADHD testing.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. I got my tail tore up. I was super hyper driven in high school because to me, being labeled as, oh, she's a smart kid, or, oh, she can do these things meant that I was good. And so based on the trauma that I have, being good was a motivator for me. I did always probably do a lot of my work at the last minute, even though I was pretty smart. This is so embarrassing to say. I had a kid, of course, when I was in high school, and I would literally forget to go pick him up. And I couldn't explain it to you, even to this day. Why did you forget that you need to go pick up this kid? So I would forget, and be like partying, having fun with friends, be like, oh shit, I was supposed to go pick up this kid. And of course, my mother has been called. And so she went and picked him up. And then finally they was like, no, he can't come back here because y'all can't pick him up on time like you're supposed to. But he would get out of daycare before I got out of high school. So I had to ditch my last class in order to go pick him up. But there were a couple of times I was like, dang, you just blanked out and forgot that you were supposed to do this. So I think being in the military, I just kind of learned, okay, you got to make a list. You have to be where you're supposed to be no matter what's happening. So there's always alarms and you need to be here doing that. So I think that's how I started coping with my ADHD. But there are other aspects of it that I didn't even recognize. Oh, that's what that is or could be. So
yeah, I was
know.
very surprised when we started this probably 8 years ago now. Like the impulsivity, like stealing can be a thing. Just taking things with no man, like I'm sitting with you at your house and I just take something, or like the impulsivity was very surprising to me. And I think the regulation of emotions, because I was raised, we're a blended family. I was raised in a household where there was cussing, we expressed emotions. If we were mad, we said we were mad. I saw fighting. I saw like all the realm, right? So it's very challenging for me, for people who cannot express emotions. I'm like, are you mad? Just say you're fucking mad. Are you pissed off? Say you're happy. You're happy. Why do we have to like act like, but it's not, usually it's not acting like anything. It's just not natural,
Yeah, it's not natural for me. And I can't say that's part of ADHD or if it's just.
It's probably your life and trauma.
Yeah,
but
my
ADHD
life
plays into that too, with the emotional regulation. Like, sometimes you're going to be really happy. Sometimes you're going to be really sad. And sometimes you're just not even going to know what you're feeling. Like the kids will say a lot. True. I'll be like, what's wrong? I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know. And I'm like,
yeah, because I do have a hard time expressing my emotions. I am more of a person that will just stuff it down and I'm fine. Just put it under the rug. But I do find that later on, if I've swept something under the rug and the same person does something similar, and I'm super pissed off, but I would never say anything. I just, because I don't want, I'm a person that kind of wants things calm, and I don't know if that's ADHD or symptom or not, but I just would like, I think I don't know, because Ed will always say to me, you just work the room with ease. And so I am very social. I love being around people, but I feel I got to be in control and I got to be the one moving and doing and making the people laugh and smile. And if you're not doing that, I'm not coming back to your area.
Yeah.
So I
think that's a little bit about your other part of your life too.
Oh, well.
I think it's probably both come into play on that. But I feel like for me personally, my experience, again, not everybody's the same. I feel like the ADHD people in my life thrive on chaos and disorder and like time running out, and everybody's running out the door at the last minute, and wait, we get in the car halfway down the road. Oh, I don't have my shoes. I don't have the same crap I've asked for the last hour. I mean, I know everybody's like, every kid's like that. This is to an extreme. Like Madison has more anxiety than she does ADHD. She has a little bit of it though, because we do a lot of body doubling, and she does, but she's managed it for longer. It's beyond the normal child stuff. I'll just say that. I know normal child, forget this, don't do that. This is like at a different level. It's the only way I could describe it.
Yeah, because I packed for a trip this weekend. And of course, my brain, me now, not when I was maybe 5 years ago, me now is like, you need to get your crap together, get shit together. You need to put out, okay, do you have your underwear? Do you have your shirts?
Yeah, otherwise you'll go with one sweatshirt and a pair of socks.
Do you have your makeup that you're going to wear? Did you get the thing you need for the party or blah, 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 blah? And I said to myself, I got to get my shower shoes. I don't know what it is about other bathrooms. I'm not showering in your bathroom.
That's your military background.
And I said it to myself. Said, do you have everything? Yes, I have everything, but I need to get my shower shoes. And I walked out the house, got all the way to where we were going, and was like, fuck, I forgot my shower shoes. How did I forget my shower shoes?
Yeah. You didn't have it written down, so everything else in your brain. Yeah.
But I had everything else. I didn't miss a beat. I had everything else.
When we took our trip, I think it was an 8-day trip. There's this line of teaching your kids to be independent.
Yeah.
and let them figure it out. But then when you also, and here's the other thing too, with ADHD, a lot of times emotionally and maturely, they're behind.
Yeah.
So if you have a 15-year-old kid, they could be like 11, 12. You add trauma or anything to that, it could be even more delayed. So you're looking at a 15-year-old body, you're dealing with a 10-year-old child, right? So we go on this trip, and this one said child literally packs, I think it was one pair of pants, one shirt, a pair of socks, and like one pair of underwear, maybe two pairs of underwear. If we get there, our fault too, but like, are you serious?
I mean, like you're saying, you're teaching young
But
people
you
to be
try.
adults. And so, okay, that's what you brought. Starts to be
But
you.
see, that's where I think education, like I tell the kids all the time, read about it, not just the bad stuff. Listen, ADHD can be a superpower. People can go do things that nobody else can do because they can hyper focus in a way. They're creative. I mean, Kingston is very creative in his brain. When he wants something, he will find a way. Not always good or bad, but he will find a way. That's a superpower, right? So if you put it for positive, you could do really great things. And I feel like, and I tell the kids, all of them, even Nick, y'all need to read about it. Nick has read as much as me, and we've been to counselors as much because Nick's ADHD too. And I'm like, y'all need to like read up on it, like read it so you understand how your brain is functioning, because they get frustrated with themselves. Like they get very frustrated with themselves. They get upset, they get mad. And it's like, you've got to understand there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to learn to manage this thing, whatever it is, good, bad, whatever.
I don't think that society allows us to be or to view ourselves as there's nothing wrong with you. You just have a different way of processing information and how your brain works. The label ADHD has always held a negative connotation for me. If you had it, then you had to go on this medicine that made you like a zombie. And experiencing that with my biological mother and watching her have to take psychotropics and the effect that they had on her, it was like, I don't want that. So I think that really drove me to try to manage it myself, even though.
But did you manage it the right way?
Probably not.
So we never put our kids in a stimulant like that, because that was one, we did have them on medication, non-stimulant. And that takes longer I understand why people choose stimulants, but then you're not really learning to manage what you have. Like it does.
Aren't they addictive?
Well, they are addictive, and they have.
And then
back in the day, was an addict, so we have to be very careful with that.
And then back in the day, the only drug was Ritalin.
Yes.
And that was like, that was a terrible drug.
And that was a dead no for us.
And I think in the military, if you were diagnosed with ADHD and needed to go on Ritalin, you were medically discharged immediately. Well, now I think they don't do that.
They don't. Yeah. But like we have a friend, she'll take Ritalin sometimes, and I see the difference. She gets her stuff done.
Really?
But I think but when you really research it, you can have black coffee. That's the same stimulant. It will help.
Okay.
The magnesium helps. There's tons of natural vitamins that you can take that help a little bit, that just a little bit to kind of focus you a little bit. But you're right. I think it always has a negative thing. And even for me, I see it as a positive. I don't see it but I do see it as a frustrating thing too. Like I get that you are who you are, you're made how you're made. But when you live in that day in and day out, the pure exhaustion, frustration, it can be hard and I think it's harder for me because half of our children have they recognize it. I need help with this. I need that. I know that this helps me. And the other half have not. And until they take ownership and start seeing that, hey, I've got to do this, or I got to set an alarm. I got to put a sticker on my forehead. I got to do something. Then I think that eases that up. So I think as society, when you see, like, I try to be more patient when I see little kids jumping all over, like, people are, and I'm like, it is annoying because we're old and kids are grown now. But sometimes, like, that's just they got to get their energy out, and you still learn. It's never an excuse for behavior. We tell them all the time, if we're certain places, you better act the right way.
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm definitely grateful for you for, being there with me through all of the crazy.
You're with me through my crazy.
And kind of being that person that can say, I see you, Tiffany. Hey, baby, this is a way you could think about this, a different perspective, or you need to get your shit together. I don't know that I've ever had a friend that has done that for me. They've been more supportive, let me hold your hand. It's time to cry or whatever, but just that hard advice that you always want from a big sister. And this may sound weird. I am older than Megan, but I think she's the big sister. Because like she said earlier, people who've gone through trauma and, maybe have ADHD, I don't know that we learn to mature at the same rate. Sure, I've raised a family of kids and I've done all these great, wonderful things, but in my mind, sometimes I'm still a 13-year-old trying to recapture what it would have been like to be a 13-year-old or 14-year-old and have a good, normal life. I still find that sometimes I'm stuck in that. And even though I am, you don't judge me. Like, I remember 3 years ago, we were at the fall festival. I had just got my first pair of rain boots. And I'm like going to 13 in my mind right now. And we were jumping in puddles. And I was like, I've never done this before.
Yeah, I remember you had the red boots.
Yeah,
I jumped in a puddle.
No.
Jump in a puddle.
And Ed will do that too. Because, one day we got a magnifying glass and he was like, you never burned an ant. And I was like, who burns ants? Why would you do that? And he showed me this is how you can set stuff on fire. And I was like, oh, how did I miss that as a kid?
Yeah.
It was just because.
But I think that's why I love that you're always up for anything that we're doing.
I've probably never done it before.
And you never say no. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, I'll go. I'm like,
yeah.
I always know I'll have a friend with me that wants to do what I'm doing because you do. But on the other hand, your life has been support to me because like I've said, I had a quote unquote pretty normal life. So it's hard for me to relate to a lot of things. So I count on you to be honest when I come to you. I don't need the sugarcoating, and you're good at that. You don't. You're like, this is why. This is probably this, or this is that. So annoying. But at least I'm hearing it from a perspective of someone I trust that's not going to be like partial. That's just like, this is how it is. So I think that's why it's good to have diversity of friends of like their background. We were just having this conversation with Ava this morning. Get different, I love your friends, but get a variety of friends, variety of life experience, variety of income, variety of cultures, because that's the only way you're ever going to really learn to become an adult and experience life is through other people, because we have a limited experience of our own.
That's right.
And when your circle is everybody like you, that's boring.
It is boring, but until someone is open and kind of gets that exposure, because I don't know if I would have gone to London if I hadn't been exposed to you.
Yeah.
I would have always dreamed about it, but I don't know that I just would have been like, let's go, because I would have felt like, do black people do that? Do we go to London? I don't know. I'm sure some have, but
that comes up every time I say we're going to do something.
Black people get in the lake and kayak. Anyway, but I definitely will say yes, because it's something I've never done. Yes. But I do appreciate that you are that person for me. And I always want to ask you all the time, what is it like being a friend, more than a friend, more like a sister, and also being a mom to people who have ADHD or have dealt with trauma? What is your advice to somebody who's venturing into this with no clue? Y'all don't got no clue what y'all getting yourselves into. What would you tell them?
Honestly, my parents, they taught me you love everybody and anybody, and you always try to be understanding. And then when I was later in life, the gentleman that I knew said, always seek understanding first. So I think for me, it's just I've been raised with love, and I don't always have patience. So I'm not going to lie about that. But I think I've always been open to if people love me, I'm going to love them. And you love me, ugh. So I love you, ugh. And with, the blended family, I will still stick to what I'm saying is that is a hard thing. And I don't know that, I really think that people need to take that seriously. You need counseling before you go into that.
Yes.
But I think you just have to go, and if you love people, I tell my boys especially all the time, I annoy you and you hate me because I love you. I love you, and I love you like my own, and I know I drive you crazy, but if I didn't do all this stuff, I would question if I loved you, because that means I didn't care. So I think going into anybody that you meet that's different than you have to be understanding and be willing to hear. I appreciate we can literally talk about anything. I could ask you, is this normal? Is that not normal? Hey, is this for Black culture? Is that normal? Or you'll say, hey, do white people do that?
Yeah.
Or, hey, my kid did this. Is this normal? And I can do that and not feel judgment or anything like that. And I think that I have to give that back, of course, because if I made you feel any kind of way, you wouldn't be my friend. Yeah. So I think people just have to be willing to be open-minded, especially if you've been sheltered your whole life. I feel like that's a thing. If you've been in the same little town, same people, the same exposure, and then you meet this loud person or this sad person or this poor person or a rich person, and you're like, "Ugh," I mean, you gotta be willing to let me see.
Be open, be
open.
kind.
But the same thing for you though.
What?
I mean, you gotta think like we're totally different people in some aspect. So for you being my friend, where'd that start from?
And someone
It
asked
was
me
kind of
this.
forced from Edward, but
No, someone asked me this because I went to visit my family and we were talking about the podcast, and she was saying how much she loves it and that she watches it all the time. She's probably the one that makes the most comments on our posts. And she said, "How did you two meet?" And I told her, well, I knew her through Ed. And when I first met her, I was like, she's a bitch. I'm not going to be friends for her. But she's so bossy. And that's just my personality too, as I'm in charge. You don't tell me what to, I'm up in here now. I'm in charge. So follow what I say. And so
I really got to work on that.
no, and so she was the instructor, and I was like, no, she's mean. I have my feel of mean in the military. I want to be around nice people. But then the George Floyd thing happened. And I think I made a post on Facebook, and you asked me a question, and you listened to understand, not to judge, not to criticize, not to say, oh, you Black people are so dumb. Why would you riot? That's terrible. You're tearing up somebody's property. You listened to what I had to say and empathized with it, but then said, well, think about these things. And I was like, I've never had a white person do that to me. I really like her. I think she's pretty cool. And then I think after that, or maybe before that, I was asking Ed about you and Nick. I think it was Valentine's Day. And I think I maybe had asked you about Valentine's Day. And I was like, I just really love their love. They are so cool. She's not letting her relationship be identified by this is what the world says. It has to be, you got to be married, you got to live together and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I want to tell her that. So I think Ed called you and I said it. And he was like, baby. And you was just real. And I was like, oh, I really think you were. He just real, like, baby, I appreciate what you said, but let me tell you, we're gonna be good though. So I just thought that you were really genuine and honest. And that's something I've always wanted. Somebody that's genuine and honest, can tell me and see me, but still be there, not just talk about me and say, oh, she's so pitiful. Oh, her life's so terrible. And then also encourage me to do things I never thought I would, because you can see the strength that I have, the intelligence that I have, and that you believe I can do it, whether I believe in myself or not.
Yeah, I'm going to keep pushing you, girl.
She going to push me to be president next. And
just the beginning.
Lord help us, Jesus. And even this podcast came about because you said you want to do it. And I said, you wanted to do a podcast. And I was like, okay, I think we went to breakfast one year for New Year's Day or something. And I said, when we going to do it?
Yeah.
And you was like, I don't know. Okay, we're going to put a date. We're going to do it this. We're going to do it this. We're going to start. And I wasn't even supposed to be a part of it. It's just supposed to be her podcast. And that's how we started this podcast. So we push each other.
Yeah. I think it was good because I never would have done it. We just would have done
really?
it. Yeah. And I like that it's back and forth with us. I think it's great because I think the way we can talk and ask questions, and sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. I love it.
I love it. I like it too. I do. All right, guys. So what are your comments about ADHD? Do you think you have it? Are you getting tested? What are your tips for us that may have it? And how do you interact with your loved one that has ADHD or any mental health issue? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, bye, guys.
Bye.